Olá pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Aqui quem fala com vocês é o professor Fabiano Costa, professor da Escola Confraria Floripa Bonsai, do curso como fazer bonsai.com online, tudo certinho. Hoje eu vou falar para vocês sobre uma live. Na verdade eu vou mostrar para vocês uma live que eu tinha feito lá na Bélgica, no Trophy 20, agora em fevereiro de 2019, onde o maestro Mauro fala sobre YAMADORI. É uma coisa muito legal que vocês vão gostar muito, é sobre a região, mas tem muita dica que dá para ser levada em consideração para vários outros lugares, tá bom? Mas antes eu queria dar um recadinho bem rápido para vocês, tá? Quem gosta de saber muito sobre bonsai, sobre aprender o mundo do bonsai, eu tenho um curso que é totalmente moderno, ok? É um curso que ensina as melhores técnicas de bonsai para iniciantes e iniciados, um curso online, onde você vai ter o meu contato de WhatsApp também para entrar em contato o tempo inteiro. A gente conversa muito pelo WhatsApp, a gente tem um grupo VIP, onde todos os alunos estão juntos e tirando dúvidas. Não é um curso onde você entra um abraço para você. Não, você tem como tirar dúvidas, a gente conversa, e para isso você tem todo um ano para isso. Ok? Então agora mesmo pode acessar aí no link que tem na descrição do vídeo, tá? Que a minha equipe está toda pronta, esperando por você. E é isso daí. Sem mais delongas então, vamos pro vídeo de hoje. Abração, até mais.
Height is around 1,000 meters, 1,200 meters the maximum. Quercus grows like pines. So again, they are not able to shoot roots down because they grow in clay. And under like 15-20 centimeters of clay, there is just rock. So they shoot through side roots and they keep snaking in the soil and they get this crazy movement. So for this tree, we don't collect almost any root ball because it's impossible. The clay is very bad, they have only side roots very thick, but the part from the base and the first 10-15 centimeters of the roots, even if they are just big, is called rhizogen area. It's an area where the cells of the wood are very active. So if they get in contact with moisture, they can transform themselves in new fine roots. So we use that particularity of the quercus, and this is something that is also present in olives or other type of deciduous like Carpinus, and can help the tree to survive after the recollection. So as I said, for example, this tree when it was collected almost had no roots. But what we do is we pot them in pumice and perlite, and we put a black plastic bag on top of the tree. So we collect this tree during winter, differently from conifers that we collect in spring, when the tree is already pushing out the energy. Because if we collect in winter, the tree is dormant, and it has to stay dormant a long time, so 2 or 3 months, before the flash in spring. So for conifers, it's very dangerous to collect in the middle of winter. But for the deciduous tree, and especially quercus, is the best period. So from November to January, where I can go collect a conifer, I go collect quercus. And then I pack with black plastic bags and I store in a greenhouse. So I obligate the tree to hold the moisture in the trunk. So no light touch the tree, and the tree is sealed inside of this greenhouse, in the greenhouse. So also the tree don't go in a lower temperature that can eventually freeze the water. Okay? What's happened? The natural reaction of the tree of being in dark is changing the buds and the cell of the wood, the younger wood, in buds. So it's gonna start budding back in the foliage, in the branches, and it's gonna shoot roots in this rhizogen area inside of the root ball or in the base of the trunk. And it's gonna start using that moisture that the tree has inside already to try to survive. If I take away the bag straight away, I give a stress to the tree because it's gonna pass from a deeply wet environment to a drier environment, so the tree is gonna collapse. So I need to wait and give the time to the tree to elongate, to shoot some foliage, and in the meantime shoot some roots, and then I can change my plastic bag from black to transparent. So I start giving light to the tree. The light is helping the new leaves that were developed in dark to start photosynthesize the light and help also all the circle restart. Still not time to put the tree outside. I still have to keep the tree in the greenhouse because wind or too much sun can again give a stress to the tree. It's a process in steps. So it takes from start of spring when I start taking away the black bag and see if the tree start budding, at least 2 months until maybe start of May, that I can have the tree outside but still under a shade cloth. So the first year of life of the quercus after recollection is under a shade cloth because the very hot wind or hot sun, they can really damage and kill the tree because the tree is just living with few fine new roots. And then the tree needs 1, 2 or 3 years to start growing and become strong. So this, for example, is like 5 or 4 years from recollection. Differently from a conifer that you can already see after a few months that the tree is shooting because if we collect in spring, the tree will be already pushing out new buds if it's a pine or start a little elongating if it's a sapling. There is any question? Very good.
How important is YAMADORI collection for bonsai?
Sorry again?
How important is the collecting bonsai? Yeah.
So, you know there are many ways to do bonsai. You can start from seed, you can start from cutting, you can start from a layer, you can grow trees and go on a nursery. My opinion, and if you go on a show like this and you analyze the percentage of trees in the show, most of them and most of the most impressive trees are YAMADORI. We can't artificially reproduce what nature does in many years of growing in a very harsh and difficult environment. Pines with dead wood, Sabina with dead wood and twist, live lines, twisty part on a quercus is very difficult. If you grow maples or other elegant deciduous tree, the best way, or one of the best way, is to grow them from seed because you can correct along the way all the defects and get kind of the perfect shape bonsai. But for conifer, what is nice is the imperfection. So what's the best maker of the imperfection than nature? So we go in nature and we find, I try to find the weakest tree, the craziest tree, and then use them to make beautiful bonsai. This is, I have a Scots pine in the show. That tree was found in a higher elevation, in a rocky place, and that tree probably was growing between the rocks for 500 years, with avalanches and rocks sliding on top of the trunk and creating a dead wood that even the best carver in the world can't mimic, because, so using what nature gives us and then putting art ourselves to shape the tree, we can create a beautiful bonsai. That's my point of view. Then there is the kind of the difficult part of the recollection, that is the part about permission. We know that we can collect in private land, we can collect in state land, and we can collect in parks. For example, for my area, I have a permission from the local forestry office where I can go in some parts and I can collect trees that are not of, they call forestry interest. If there is an avalanche and some trees are growing in the middle of the rocks, they are not interested on that trees. they are interested on big trees that can hold the soil and don't allow the soil to collapse if there is too much water, there is too much snow or something like that. But those trees are not interested in them. So I was able to get the permission. Other time, for example, in other countries like France, they have a lot of private land. So there are farmers, they own their soil where they grow their corns or they grow cows, and then they have some forest. So we go there, we ask the permission, and if they agree, we go and spot for trees. In US, for example, the system, in my opinion, works better than in Europe. You go from the landlord or to the office that is responsible for the land, and you can buy tickets. For example, Wyoming, state of Wyoming, allowed you to buy tickets for $25 per tree. You go out, you spot for tree without no one, you collect and then you put a tag on your tree. So in case you are driving back home or there are checking points with the forestry office in this land, they check, you collect the tree, you have the tags, and everything is fine. Then there is the illegal way. You go in whatever you want, you collect, and you hope no one sees you and no one stops you. You choose. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Perlite and
Pumice.
initially, later for quercus?
So, I basically use pumice and perlite for all my collected trees. Then, along the line, when the trees start being worked, I try to get the tree basically in pure pumice. And then when I start putting the tree in a bonsai container, I start changing pumice with akadama. For my place, this is the way that works better. I don't need to hold moisture, so I don't need to put any type of soil like lava rocks, hold a little bit more moisture than pumice or akadama. So if you grow trees in a very dry place and you want to hold a little bit more moisture, my advice is to use 1% of lava rock as well. In the US, for example, one of the main thought is 1-1-1 akadama, pumice, and lava rocks. Then I always say is a good general advice. Then according to the different area and the different climate, you have to put more or less soil that hold the moisture, because if you go from California that is extremely dry and we still grow some of the California juniper in DG, that is the composite granite, we move in the other side, your side, Massachusetts or other countries, and you need to have a little bit more airly soil because you have already a lot of moisture, especially during the autumn, winter and spring season. Same is here in Europe, people growing trees in the Mediterranean areas or people growing trees in northern area where is a little bit more moisture. So this is a balance you have to find out along the way you start growing your trees. Any other question? Laurent, you have a question? Okay, good question. The first year after recollection, I don't fertilize my Yamadori at all. Originally, I was spraying my tree with hormones or micro elements because my thought is that the first year after recollection, the roots of the tree are still weak and the tree is growing just a little fine roots. And I risk if I fertilize, the fertilizer can burn my finer roots. So I just leave the tree free to go and expand its roots in the new surface and spot for nutriment, because it's what the tree normally does in nature. The tree grows roots and then you go and spot for nutriments that it needs. So the same it does in the pot. But if you find only pumice or other soil that is a neutral soil, it's just keep shooting roots. That is something I really want the tree to do. As many roots it can produce in a shorter period of time, better will be for the tree after, when I start fertilizing, to absorb. Okay? So the first year, no fertilizer at all. Then what I do? I use a fertilizer that is called Prodigy, that is very, very high in nitrogen. We know nitrogen is one of the elements that make the tree grow, elongate. So I don't care to give a lot of energy to the tree, because I want the tree to become stronger, faster as possible, so I can start working on the tree. One thing is having a tree survive to recollection. One thing is having the tree ready to be styled. So, for example, in Scots pine, first year, no fertilizer. Second year, I start with Prodigy, and then I see the reaction of the tree. So, for example, the Scots pine make a bigger needle, start having more than one bud at the end. So when I see the tree stronger, it depends on tree. Some trees react faster because they are younger, or when I collected they have more fine roots. Star trees need more time. I have to look, there is not a rule. When I feel that the tree is strong enough, 2, 3, 4 years, 6 years, for example, mugo pines need more time than the Scots pine to recover, I can start working on it. So, Prodigy, high nitrogen until I style the tree, and then since I start styling the tree, I slow down the nitrogen because I don't need more elongation and power, but I need the tree to develop more finer vegetation. So I start with a more balanced fertilizer, like an Agocoro, BioGold, is up to you, and again, is according to the experience. And then I put the tree in the normal schedule to become a bonsai and to be grew like a bonsai in the future. Any other question?
Do you use some liquids, super dry?
So, generally on the YAMADORI, you know, I collect for myself, I keep some trees for myself, and I collect trees to sell. So, when a tree is for sale, I try to make the tree as strong as possible in the fastest period so I can sell. For my trees, they go in the schedule of thinking that in 3-4 years they will be worked, but I still don't give any fertilizer, any foliar fertilizer. Only from the moment they get shaped, I organic fertilize the soil and chemical fertilize the green. So generally I spray Super Thrive once a week when it's sunny on the foliage of the trees, but again, only when they are already worked. I don't bother when they are still material.
Do you add mycorrhiza?
I did, but sincerely I haven't feel the difference. Because when I collect a Scots pine, let's say that is the one growing more with mycorrhiza between the pines species, it has already mycorrhiza in the ground. And this mycorrhiza is as roots able in 1 or 2 years to already fill the new pots. It happens especially with perlite that the mycorrhiza create balls of mycorrhiza and perlites that I have to kind of crash and fill apart when I repot the tree in the first container, or I have to change the pot to work on the roots, because as well as we prepare a tree in the foliage, we have also to prepare a tree in the root ball, because it has to go on a pot one day. So if we start with a big container like this, slowly we have to reduce, and sometimes we have to cut roots. So we have also to see and reduce the mycorrhiza and refill the pot. So I always like to reuse whatever comes out from the previous repot and add to the next one. So every time there is an exchange and a new.
Thanks a lot, Mauro.
That's it?
Yeah, perfect.
Very good. Thank you guys.